Yum! Cardboard.
Hey YouTube Nation, in my last video update I stated that I'll be working on a horror board game concept. It's been some years since I've actually made a full board game, and I want to do something really for the horror market. I love horror movies. I have a giant standee of Freddy in my basement. I love Jason, Mike Myers, all the classics, and I've been to many horror conventions over the years, and horror fans are some of the most dedicated people of any genre and just great people to be around. And I know there's a lot of great horror games out there like Arkham Horror and Dead of Winter. So what I want to do is use my talents as a 3D cardboard artist to make something that's really unique and gory and fun to add as a concept for people to consider. I honestly don't know where this is going because I'm going to be making this as a raw idea completely from scratch. I'm going to do things my way, where it's unorthodox, where I actually start off making the actual artistic part of it and then manipulating and creating the rules based on what I've made visually. Along the way, I'm going to make different prototypes and get your input and get your feedback on what I'm creating and put it all together and hopefully make a really fun game. But the main thing I want to do is just show you my process of taking just a general idea. And again, I have no path, I have no real idea of what this finished thing is going to be. I'm just throwing ideas out there and just putting it together layer by layer and making a finished game. And I want to bring you guys on this journey, and hopefully by the end of this, have a fun game that we're going to test out and share with all you guys watching. So let's get this path started. The process for me starts with Photoshop. For this horror game, I've decided on a cemetery motif, because what's creepier than a cemetery, right? The classic place for carnage to happen. The first thing I'll add is the background of flat grass. Next up, using pictures I took of the sidewalk and road near my house, I use those pictures as textures for the walking path in the game. I decided to go with a circular center design and a classic north, south, east, west cross path layout. As you can see, I'm all about using symmetry. Once I complete the total amount of spaces I'm comfortable with including, then I will decide what each space will do and the overall player dynamics. I of course need to throw in some start spaces, the most basic of basic things in a board game. That's what these two spaces are at the bottom here. And the last part I've done so far is add in some tombstones. A cemetery, of course, is nothing without the markers of death. And as you can see, I created 4 different types. The positions I have for them are not etched in stone, I just kind of threw them in there. I have to figure out the best way for them to flow along with the walking paths and how they will be different from each other. I will fill in each of the open 4 quadrants around the path with the tombstones in different configurations. I still have to determine what's the point of venturing off the path and going onto the tombstones, so it can't be just gore and carnage when you step on them. There has to be a benefit. Do I make the tombstones attached to cards? Or do I attach them to other characters? There's so much to think about and contemplate when making a game. That's the fun of it. Also, I'll add in more darker tones and layers and effects onto the entire image later on. Make it look more creepy and eerie. I know it looks far too upbeat and bright right now, but like I said, this is just the beginning, the first stage. I do have ideas on what the tombstones will do. I'm playing with some ideas. I'll continue on with the overall look while brainstorming. So that's it for the first video. This process is a beginning of a longer journey. I'll show you how things will work and how they will be progressing. I'm going to chip away at it slowly, and there's no rush. But what matters is having a wicked looking game that challenges players, promotes healthy competition, and will freak people out with gore and violence. You know, the good stuff. Thanks for watching, and looking forward to getting this game done and sharing it with the world.